Dear future self, I can't wait to grow up, to have my first kiss, and drive my first car, to graduate from college, and travel the world. But what I really want, future self, I just want to be happy. I'm scared of not being good enough and disappointing my mom and dad. I'm scared of being bullied. I'm scared of being treated different because of how I look. I'm scared of being scared. Future self, I see a world where I can speak my heart and never be judged. I see positivity, love and laughter with every adventure. I see opportunities where I could show the world what I could do. I want to be an example for other kids who feel like they need hope and guidance. But most importantly, I want my life to have purpose.
I can't wait to see who you become.
Welcome. This is our book launch event that we can share with YouTube. And this is so exciting to bring on Ivan. And so there we are. We've got all our friends joining us that are planning to speak today. So we'll have everybody mute until you're ready to speak. And there's Ivan. So excited to highlight my dear friend. He is such a fun guy. He's hardworking. We met at a networking event more than 10 years ago and fell in and out of touch, and so excited to reacquaint ourselves again and get to know each other so well. Brand with Purpose is such a beautiful book. I bet some of Ivan's best friends don't know some of these stories that are in here. And my name's Jen Chang. I'm a writer and so proud to present Ivan and Brand with Purpose today. Welcome, Ivan.
Thanks, Jen. How are you?
Good. So tell us a little bit about the book writing process and what do you want us to know today?
Oh God, so many things. So first and foremost, thank you all who came today. I know it's a Tuesday and it's in the middle of the day. So thank you guys so much for coming. And I can't believe like this is the day. Like I was just thinking for you Sex and the City people, like when Carrie Bradshaw puts out her book in New York. And I remember watching that episode over and over again and thinking, oh, that's going to be me one day. And here it is. Like, it feels really good. It's been 3 years. Guys, like it took 3 years to get this from when it started to now. And I wanted to highlight a couple of people. Obviously, Jen, who you helped me bring this book to life. It was one of those things that we met so many years ago. And it was one of those like universe. I can't even I can't even name it because I think what happened was just too coincidental. But it was just like divine order that you and I connected again. And I told you my idea. I had been working on an outline and trying to put things together. And I needed someone to help me just focus and to stay aligned with what the mission was. And I want to thank you, Jen, so much because of you, you helped me kind of throw this out into the world. So I want to thank you so much. And obviously like Page 2, who's here, and Macmillan, who believed in me. One of my sister-in-law was at Book Soup at LAX and she was freaking out. And I'm going to go to Barnes and Noble later today so that I can freak out. But I just wanted to thank everyone who's been involved from Page 2, Jen, Macmillan, everyone who's been part of the project, everyone who allowed me to interview them and who allowed themselves to be vulnerable with me so that I can share their stories of growth and hope and motivation and be able to include them in the book. I mean, this is a team effort. This was something that my coach, Aaron Keith, threw out at me and I said, damn, I'm good at numbers and I'm an okay writer because USC told me I was a B+ writer, So I think maybe we can do something together. But, I think at the end of the day, what I've learned about this whole process is teamwork. Like, this took a lot of people who believed in the mission, believed in the purpose, believed in me. And I can't wait to see what this does to the next generation of leaders and new entrepreneurs and creatives who are going to dive deep and hopefully be able to see something in themselves that they didn't know that they had before, right? To shine that light onto their purpose. So here we go.
Well, for those of you who don't know much about Ivan, let me just read his official bio. It is so impressive. And on top of writing a book, on top of doing all the things that he does to keep the real estate business successful, he's also been a part of Stanford's Latino Entrepreneurs Initiative. So here's his bio. Ivan Estrada is an inspirational business leader and a highly ranked real estate broker with extensive experience in real estate and finance industries. He's a top producer in the LA metro area with a thriving team in residential and commercial properties. Ivans is part of a selected cohort of leading entrepreneurs for the Stanford University Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative. He is a sought-after public speaker on the topics of branding and marketing, personal development, and real estate by organizations such as Inman, California Association of Realtors, and The Real Deal. He produces a large portfolio of video content. Check that out on the YouTube, social media, everywhere, including the popular YouTube series Real Estate Minute. He has been featured on NBC's Open House, HGTV, Bravo, as well as publications like LA Times, Forbes, Hollywood Reporter, and Dwell. He was named among the nation's top 30 under 30 in real estate with National Association of Realtors, and is also regularly named in Newsweek's America's Best Realtors list. He holds a bachelor's degree in finance and accounting from University of Southern California and is a CPA. Ivan is currently a member of the Council at the Natural History Museum in LA County and was a former president of the LA LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce. Ivan is a tenor, known as a teen singer on variety shows for Univision and TV Azteca. He's a proud uncle and loves to take his cockapoo dog, Noah, running on the beach. Wow, so many accomplishments, and somehow you managed to write a book and share all of these lessons and all these interviewees. And speaking of Ivan being an inspiration and a good public speaker, last week he just spoke at one of YBA's schools, and I'd like to bring on Kieran to tell us about Youth Business Alliance. Kieran.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Kieran, and I'm the talent acquisition manager for Sierra Constellation Partners and a current MBA student at Pepperdine University. I have been an active partner of the Youth Business Alliance for almost a year, and now here to speak as a representative from the YBA Community Board. Founded in 2012, Youth Business Alliance empowers students to build essential business skills for their careers. Currently, YBA is in 20 programs serving thousands of students. We partner with high schools in low-income communities to offer a year-long course covering career readiness, financial literacy, and Business 101 through a series of guest speakers, in-class curriculum, and field trips. YBA's vision is for all students to know that they can achieve big dreams and have the tools to make career success a reality. Ivan has been a great partner to YBA to make their vision come to life. He has joined with YBA to do student talks and has gifted copies of the book Brand with Purpose to YBA students. Most recently, he spoke at Alliance Burton High School in South LA and inspired many students to achieve their dreams. When achieving goals, it is not always one straight path. Like Evan, many of us had to take different journeys to be where we are today. Mentors like Evan are what our students need, and the lessons from mentors he shares in the book are a great resource to them. Thank you, Evan, and fight on.
Fight on.
Kieran, that was beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Ivan, tell us a little bit about how this book, why did you write this book? I think you tell us about it in the beginning, but let's hear it from you.
Well, I wrote this book for the younger generation, but I was deep inside, I was keeping my nephew, Luca, in my mind the entire time. You know, when I grew up, there wasn't a lot of mentors that I could look up to. In my community, there just wasn't. And I feel that if there were some more examples of people in the media or out public speaking that look like me, you know, my journey would have been different. And so I felt like my purpose on this planet was to write this book, to put this together and give it to the younger generation, to give them hope. The diversity of people in this book. I mean, it's incredibly diverse, from people all over the world, all walks of life, that any kid who reads it can see themselves in these stories. And that was my goal, to inspire, to motivate, to make anything feel possible, because it was for me. Like, I'm a true example of what is possible, the true American dream of coming from two immigrant parents from Mexico and be able to accomplish what I've accomplished has been through obviously hard work, drive and dedication, and the secret sauce and everything that I've included in this book to be able to pass this down to teenagers and college students and young adults who really want to, you know, to fight for their dreams and go for their goals.
And wow. And part of that is that you're donating, gifting these books to students who need it. And me also being a child of immigrants, we instantly bonded when we met years ago. And it's just so powerful when you are gifted a book from someone who you don't know, who wants you to succeed. I think that has always been a gift. When scholarships and mentors came along the way, it was like, wow, somebody else to believe in me. And I think that is such a tremendous gift that you're giving to students. I know at Riverside City College, they're expecting over 300 books from you, and they're distributing it to their student government leaders as well as their student clubs and anyone who comes into their resource center. So you're reaching high school students and college students. And I also know some mid-career filmmakers have also signed up to get your book as well, because you started off being a CPA, an accountant, and then you pivoted to be an entrepreneur, a business leader. So let's get ahead and start reading some parts of the book. You haven't, if you haven't received the book yet today, you're going to get some sneak peeks of excerpts that Ivan's going to read to you. And also it's available on Audible. Already we've gotten great reviews from people who downloaded it at midnight. Troopers, supporters, thank you for championing and getting started early on the Audible version of Brand with Purpose.
All right, guys, so let's get down and dirty. Let's start at the introduction. So I'm going to read a couple of excerpts. This one's from the introduction, which I thought was very important. So, all right, here we go. Welcome to Brand with Purpose. What is the concept Brand with Purpose? Having purpose is having an internal drive, sensing the fire inside, that oxygen that makes you feel truly alive. You can have small purposes that add up to a bigger drive. It takes some soul searching and honesty to uncover pieces of you that may have been hidden. Knowing your purpose is knowing what you want to be remembered for. This book will help you uncover yours, to help you drive your journey of branding. Brand with Purpose is having clarity in broadcasting the message and being seen for your gifts in a way that serves a greater good. Not having purpose is more obvious. You feel lost, disconnected. You have a vague outlook on life. You don't feel connected to anything greater than yourself. Branding without purpose is broadcasting a message that doesn't feel authentic to you. I have experienced this lack of purpose, and I had phases in my life where I had to redefine mine because the old me needed a new journey. Why did I write this book? This book is a collection of wisdom I wish I had when I was younger. It is a book I want to gift the younger generation. Through my 20s, I was driven by money, status, and external validation. I work without a greater purpose. In the last few years, I've found a larger meaning for my career. I have learned I'm more to contribute than my success in the real estate industry. Right before my nephew was born, my sister told me she wanted to be my nephew's guardian should anything happen to her and her partner. That was a life-changing moment for me. It dawned on me that my Peter Pan ways had to go, and I'm now responsible for the well-being of loved ones and the next generation. Becoming an uncle was a very big moment in my life, and I want my nephew to grow up in a world where there are more trailblazers and mentors like you. For whatever career and community he chooses to build, this book is for you if you're an entrepreneur looking for a diversity of wisdom, you're interested in a workbook to help you with your personal growth, you felt different and didn't fit in, you lack mentors in your community who are working your dream career, you lack mentors who look like you, you're creative and looking for a career that might be outside the box.
So beautiful, Ivan.
Oh.
Tell us some of the comments that we're getting from your peers who started hearing the Audible this morning.
There's a lot of stories that people didn't know about me as a kid. A lot of stories that I thought were not part of what I wanted my brand to be. Because, my family and I, we grew up with very humble beginnings. And these were beginnings that I just wanted to keep trapped in a box. I didn't want to let people know that this is where I came from because I felt like it was going to affect my future. And just putting it all out there and for people to read. A lot of the comments that I got last night and this morning from 3 of my really good friends were, wow, I love how raw and authentic this is. Why didn't you tell me any of these stories before? I love this. And so I think in a way, this is also freeing myself to be able to be the more authentic me. I've mentioned this before that as I was writing this book, it was completely filling in the blind spots in my life, the holes that I had in my life that were left unfilled. That during this whole process it was therapy. It was intense therapy of really reconnecting with the Ivan that I remember and that I loved. And that's the goal of this book, is to help people get to that point, to feel proud of who you are, of where you came from, and be able to integrate that into your brand, because that's what's going to help differentiate you from the entire marketplace. And that's what makes you feel special. And so that's the goal.
We're getting some great comments from YouTube comments here from Alma, who was part of the Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative at Stanford.
Yeah,
Alma saying, my book is out for delivery today. I'm so excited. Thank you for doing this, Ivan.
This is awesome.
Shout out to all the L-Band people. And then another comment from Trina. I've always admired how this book was about giving back for Ivan. It was never about you. Yeah, that's beautiful. Do you want to read the next passage?
Yeah, let's go. All right. The next passage is about finding your story. And here we go. Find your story. We all have a story. It is helpful to look at your childhood strengths and experiences. See what has stayed with you as you traveled on your journey in entrepreneurship and branding. It is this story that gives you your authenticity and creates trust with your audience. For example, I want my name to show up at the top of the internet search when someone is looking for a motivational speaker or a lead entrepreneur. I want their internet to show that I'm making a difference. Could I become the Latino version of Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, and Jay Shetty, influencing all kinds of entrepreneurship? I want to help younger people develop their successful journey without unnecessary obstacles. My mentorship efforts are aimed at helping people to be proud of who they are and their uniqueness. Your purpose can come from one moment or experience, and it can start with a smaller project that repeats and makes a bigger impact as you grow. Your purpose can change over time, and it can stay local or go bigger. Examine your personal story and start something that shares your purpose with a community. I'm a big fan of art and often sketch in my journal. And so pretty much what we were just talking about is just really diving deep to your story as a kid. I think as a kid is it's the time that you're like less unfiltered by society and community and people, and going back to that moment of where everything is possible, where you don't even filter what you say and what you do. And that's when you feel truly alive. I remember that's when I wanted to be an astronaut, and I wanted to be a doctor, and I wanted to be so many different things, and everything was possible, right? As you get older, you're like, hey, you're not that good at math, so maybe you shouldn't, go into that field, or you're not that creative, so you shouldn't go into the art field, right? Then we get told by society what box we need to fit in. And so I think it's really important to go back to your past and your history and your stories and integrate that into your branding, not just on a visual aspect, but also in an internal aspect to the heart and soul of your brand.
So we are loving that there are so many people on YouTube watching. Please make your comments, ask us questions. We'll field that till at around 11:45. We'll do a Q&A. So please put comments, put questions, so that we have questions that we can answer with you and be in dialogue.
Yeah, everything. Nothing's off the table, guys. I'm an open book. I'm literally an open book. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Ivan's best friends are like, we didn't know this about you. This is exciting. So before we talk about the excerpt about team, I want to thank all the people who have made this possible. Allison is helping us monitor the YouTube and handle the tech with me. And we have our publishing team from Page Two. Lorraine, let's have you jump on and tell us about the process of working with Ivan.
Okay, hi Jen, thanks. I think my video is disabled, but I'm here. Oh, here we go. I'm going to pop on so I can say hi to everybody in person. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here for this special moment, Ivan. It's so exciting to celebrate this major milestone of getting this important book out into the wild. I've got my copy here. It's beautiful. It's really hard to speak to a book when you've just heard the author, and so many great guests already speak so eloquently to the project. Brand with Purpose, I think, is clearly a passion project, and not just Ivan's. I think it's a passion project for all of us on the team, and anybody really who holds hope for our future leaders. Ivan's vision for this book really shines through in his writing, even just when you hear him speak like we just did, and his focus and drive through this whole publishing journey have really represented that. I love your vulnerability in the narrative. I love that your young nephew was the source of inspiration for this book. I think it's really, really reflective of how rooted the goals for this book really are. We know that the book has been created for, aspiring entrepreneurs or young professionals. And as a mom of three, Brand with Purpose has really set a new bar as what I think should really be a first business book for youth. You've carefully curated a great diverse group of interviewees. I think it's really reflected, it's articulated the importance of your why and not just the how or the what in finding success. I am so proud to be part of the publishing team, helping Ivan get this book out into the wild. You can all go find your copies now. It's out there across the nation. I think the lessons about personal growth and self-discovery are so relevant and timely for today's youth. It really is just a beautiful, beautiful book. Gift this one, people. It's stunning. I think my wish for Brand with Purpose is that it lands in the hands of thousands and thousands of readers who will be inspired by Ivan's work and words when finding their own path. Huge congratulations from me and the entire team here at Page Two. I think this is only the start for Brand with Purpose, and I'm so excited to see the great work and the legacy that this book will support. Congratulations, Ivan.
Thank you, Lorraine. That was awesome. Thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate everyone at Page Two. You guys, honestly, I say this again and again, but thank you for believing in me and in my story and in the purpose of this book. And I can't wait to see where this takes us. So thank you.
Great. So let's go on with the reading about team. Thank you, Lorraine.
So for those of you that know me, I am a true entrepreneur to the core. I definitely get that from my grandfather, Max, on my mom's side, which I actually played a tribute to him last Friday. You know, I think for me as a kid, it was always in me, like the fire of growing a business and selling and you know, it always came second nature. So I'm going to read you a little excerpt from the book about growing your team. And this starts in elementary school, so you can see where the hustle really began. Growing your team. In elementary school, I was already making a great income selling chocolates, Power Ranger cards, and pretty much anything I could get my hands on. I knew that if I wanted to make even more money, I needed to split myself into 5 little pieces or hire a team. I was able to recruit 3 other kids from the playground to help me sell my products, Joel, Melissa, and Jose. I could pay them either by splitting the profit 50-50 or by giving them some of the product to take home for themselves. As a child entrepreneur, I didn't really know about child labor laws. My main objective was to hire a team and to expand my enterprise plans so that I can make more money. I needed to trust each person and also find kids who could tap into new customers from different grades and different areas of the playground. We had very different personalities, but we shared similar values, and most importantly, we all had the drive to make more money for our own candy and toys. As one person, you don't have all the skills you need to run a successful business, so you need to build a team. Know what vendors or consultants to hire and what staff is needed. First, if you haven't already taken some personality tests to get to know yourself better, it is important to identify your individual strengths and find where you need to fill the gaps. In this chapter, we have several types of assessments you can check out to see how they can help you know yourself and know what you need for your team. Second, you will want to have your prospective candidates or current colleagues take assessments so that you, as the leader, know how to manage your organization better. And lastly, I've interviewed 2 key mentors in my career who have built many organizations in their decades of work in real estate. While their industry specialty is real estate, their advice and insights are relevant to building a successful business in any industry. So I'm going to stop there. Obviously, building a team is an expansion of your brand. I've been doing this for a while now, and there's just so much insight, not just from my end, but from my coaches, my mentors, Fran Hughes, Rick Durgan, who are big key players in this chapter, who really had 2 different ways of building a team. One was more about you have to follow your gut. You have to follow your instinct. Like you really need to pay attention and feel, is this person the right fit? While the other person was more about assessments, right? Like, let's take some exams. I need to know if your personality type is going to vibe with mine. He was more about tracking the numbers, and the other mentor was more about following your gut. And so we dive deeper into figuring out which one's probably the best way for you. But this was one of my favorite chapters in putting together because I've had so much experience just building Ivan Estrada Properties, now building Brandwidth, where I felt that it's so important, especially in a world where it's dominated by teams, right? We talked about getting anything accomplished in this world, you know, small and large, it's done in a team, right? It's all done by working together and making sure that the people that you're working together is the right fit for your company's culture and also for the longevity of your brand. So definitely one of my favorite chapters.
Well, usually we're going to save some of the questions to the end, but there's one right directly about team. How do you work with your team to create a collective sense of purpose? And this is from Trina. Thank you for asking that.
Hi, Trina. So it's very important. When we start our Monday meetings, we have Monday meetings and Friday trainings. During our Monday meetings, at the beginning, before we start anything else, we set out what is our purpose and intention of the team. I think it's very important to always have this, especially at the beginning of the work week, because that sets the intention and that sets the base for that week. And so just having this as a constant reminder and saying it out loud is very important. So I've always done that. I think it's very crucial. Also having my purpose and my intention and also my goals and having them written down. I have them written all over my home here. There's like 12 sheets of paper stapled, taped to the walls. Just to remind myself, this is the purpose, this is the intention, this is what I'm doing, and a constant reminder to your team so that way there is congruence and everyone's on the same page and everyone's fighting for the same mission.
Great. We're welcoming some of our friends who are popping in. So thank you for popping in. Let's see, let's keep it going. We have some more comments from YouTube. I picked up my book today from Barnes & Noble today. Yay, that's from your friend Candace Griego.
Awesome.
Thank you, Candace.
Love you, Candace. She's like a sister to me and a huge motivator for me writing this book as well. So thank you for doing that.
Yes. Let's move on to your next excerpt because we're running short on time.
Okay, perfect. So the next excerpt I wanted to read because I think it's very important. It's about pivoting, right? The world is changing. Everything is evolving much quicker than what we're used to. And so I thought that this, as a brand, you have to evolve, you have to change, you have to adapt. And so I thought I would read a little excerpt of Planning for Change. Change will happen and you need to plan for it. You need to become indispensable, and that is through initiated education, learning, through mentorship, and risk-taking. Be bold, different, and assertive. Assess your strengths and find out how you're most valuable to your colleagues and clients. In order to be most valuable for my business, I've been challenged with learning how to be a better leader as I grow my business and expand my team. As a driver, I've had to learn new managerial styles with my team, working with people who might have different learning styles. With new people, I need to remember how I felt when I was new to the business 12 years ago. I also need to ask my new team members how they feel about their challenges. I have certain advantages and blind spots that my team members don't have. Learning to listen actively, I ask questions like, how can I motivate you? How do you most like about your business? Where are you having challenges? Why do you think you have those challenges? What can I do to help you with those challenges and help you solve those problems? To develop a strong team and retain them for a long term, my job is to provide my team with something that they can't get anywhere else. We just talked about this. Our Monday check-in establishes plans and goals for the week. And on Fridays, we have team lunch and learns. Not every team member can afford the coaches I invest in, so I pass on the tools and lessons I learned from my coaches. It's not just teaching them how to fish. I also equip them with the tools so that they can go fishing on their own. We have each other's back. I ask my members to tell me if there's something I'm not doing, something I can help them with. No matter how busy I am, I need to set aside my priorities to invest in my team members and see them as also clients, demonstrating to them how I treat my clients. So we had just talked about this, about the importance of that, setting that tone on a Monday. And especially as your brand changes, as you have to pivot, it's important to include that in your Monday meeting. How are we going to pivot? How is this going to change the mission so that you can either slowly adapt and change with the times, or it's something that has to be a radical change. And so there's more information on the chapter on pivoting, tons of more information, and also exercises. I want to just remind you the importance of it's a fun read. There's a lot of great advice. There's a lot of great tools, but the progress and the growth happens in answering the questions, in doing the exercises. These are questions and exercises that I was asked by mentors, by coaches, by therapists, honestly. A lot of great things that I really had to put pen to paper. And as you put pen to paper, you become more self-aware. You become more self-aware. We talked about blind spots. Become more self-aware of your strengths, and you become more self-aware of the things that I hate the word weakness, but we're human, right? And there's some weaknesses that can get reinforced and become strengths, or we hire the right people or find the right collaborators in order to fill in those weaknesses so that we can be as strong as possible.
And that is just on topic. One of our YouTube friends is sharing that knowing your strengths and weaknesses is important to to success in every business. So thanks for
Absolutely.
validating and amplifying the points that Ivan is sharing here. We have one more passage.
One last passage. So it's called, it's on the last chapter, Reflections. And I'm going to share a very personal story with all of you. And I do have to read the top part here as well, because it's very special. It's from my mama. So it's Reflections. She said, "Don't worry, son. One day you're going to have a lot of pair of shoes." My mom. "Walk a mile in my shoes." I was cleaning out my closet recently and found that old pair of shoes, the ones with the hole in the bottom, repaired with duct tape. I have so many shoes, probably 60 pairs in my closet, that I'd forgotten and even kept these. These dress shoes with the duct tape on the bottom of one sole were the only shoes I wore for my real estate work when I was trying to get my career started. Seeing them for the first time in years took me on an emotional whirlwind. It made me remember where I started. When I was working as a caterer to make ends meet and also starting in real estate, I only had 2 pairs of shoes, a pair of running shoes and these black work shoes. At that time, I could not afford more. It was either pay my phone bill or buy a new pair of shoes. I couldn't do both. Even though I wore out my work shoes on both jobs, I always made sure that the top of the shoes were polished, black, and shiny. These were the shoes I would wear when I walked miles to door knock at homes. In real estate, I was always door knocking, and then as a caterer, I was on my feet zipping from one table to another. I put so many thousands of steps into those shoes and I created a hole in the bottom of them. I remember needing to make that duct tape repaired and feeling sorry for myself. I was so embarrassed about the hole, I didn't even tell my partner who I was living with. This is a story of how one person changed my life and how I will never forget where I came from. All it took was one major client giving me a listing to get me out of my economic tough times. I remember sitting in her living room and talking about the proposed transaction, which was yet to be processed. And then I crossed my legs, revealing the duct tape on the bottom of my shoe. I was instantly embarrassed and felt a pin open up in my stomach, but it was too late. She saw the duct tape and then she looked at me. I'm not sure if she felt sorry for me or what her look meant, but that was the moment she confirmed her contract with me. It was the biggest transaction of my career up to that point, and it gave me a year's worth of salary. Maybe this deal happened because she saw the shoe and realized how hardworking I was. Her deal was the turning point at the starting of my career when I could finally quit the catering job and just focus on my passion career, which was real estate. This story shows me how important it is for all of us in whatever career we go into, as an entrepreneur or not, to remember where we came from, that every little thing matters, from keeping those shoes polished to doing your best work with pride. The butterfly effect, this one action of one client changed my circumstance single-handedly. She enabled me to focus on my real estate career. To show my gratitude, I have put these pair of shoes in my entryway so that every time I leave my home and every time I walk back in, I have a reminder of my journey. I could keep myself humble and never forget. So, yeah, tough times, guys, right? When I started this career in real estate, my parents were concerned. My parents were concerned that I was leaving my job as a CPA at a major firm and going into the real estate business when it was at the bottom. We were in a major recession, but I knew that this was my purpose. I knew that this was part of my purpose. And I remember when I had those 2 pairs of shoes, it was Nike shoes for the gym because I've always been super athletic. And the other ones were just these black shoes that I would wear to my real estate office and to the catering company. And I didn't want to ever ask my parents for money to buy another pair of shoes because I thought, I don't want them to say, I told you so, right? Even though they were very supportive, I just felt, no, I just have to make ends meet. I got to figure things out. It got to the point where I had less than a month's rent worth of rent in my bank account. And that was the day that this client, I went to go meet with her. I crossed my shoe, my leg, and she saw the bottom of my shoe. And I thought, that's it. She's not going to sign the contract. She's not going to do it. And she did. And she changed my life. That single moment. And I'll never forget. Right. And I think having some of these moments that you never forget, especially where you came from, no matter how successful you become in your business or as an entrepreneur or not, to remember these moments, because these for me are humbling moments that I will never forget, that will forever keep me to my core, keep me centered, and to keep me humble for the rest of my life. So thanks for letting me share that with you.
Ivan, you are so humble, and yet you have such fantastic supporters and interviewees. We got a comment from our dear friend, Mark Batson, who was also included in the book with his wisdom and leadership as a music producer. He says on YouTube's comments, congrats, so happy for you to see this dream come true. So much work went into this, ordering copies, lots of exclamation points. So
yeah, thank you, Mark. Like, Mark is sprinkled all over this book, and Mark is the epitome of a Renaissance man who knows everything about everything. But the reason he does that is because he's been open. I learned his story. He's one who doesn't say no, who tries new things. If it doesn't work, he tries something else. And he's been able to create his brand by just it's like a marrying of all of his skills that he's acquired throughout his whole life. And he's such an inspirational person. He's sprinkled throughout this book. And Mark, thank you so much for allowing me to be able to highlight that. And thank you for being here today.
And for those of you with your books coming soon, his quote is highlighted in the very front of the book, and find it sprinkled throughout the book. We have, speaking of being proud, we have Brittany, who is a dear friend, coming on to tell us how you two know each other and more about Ivan, because he's too humble to share some of his things that we should be proud of. Brittany, there we are.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Castro. I'm so excited to be here. Ivan, you don't know this, but I actually came home after your event. When was that? Friday, and read your whole book. I love it. I couldn't put the book down, actually, and I read a ton. Like, I legit read a ton of books, but I've never read a book that fast in my life. Maybe it's because I know you and love you. I'm not sure. But yeah, I am honored to be part of your journey, your friend. I've watched you grow. I think I met you about 8 years ago, actually, and we were introduced from a mutual friend, Sarah. And she, I think, said the same thing to you, but she told me, Brittany, you need to meet Ivan. He's basically the guy version of you. He does all these videos for real estate. And I think she probably said something similar to you. Ivan, you should meet Brittany. She does all these finance videos. Anyway, we met, we hit it off. And since then, we've both been supporting each other on our journeys of being entrepreneurs in Los Angeles. But more than that, I've been your friend, and I think we've seen each other grow in our journeys of like self-discovery, being an entrepreneur, being a speaker, doing the things that we do in our lives, but also, I can honestly say you like walk the, how do you say it? You walk the talk? You're authentic, you are who you are, and I love that about you. I think it's so rare to find people who are legit professionals and successful, but authentic and humble, and you're funny as heck, which is why I like you. What can I say? I think this book is amazing. I love branding, you know that. So I think everything you wrote in the book was spot on. And it really did come across as like a self-discovery book. I think I was just listening to the excerpt you were reading, and you taking like those personal stories and interweaving them into your own book is such a big part of branding in general. So anybody who is a business owner, wants to be a business owner, wants to be an entrepreneur, wants to be a speaker, just really wants to make more money or be more successful or live more happily should read this book, because I feel like now more than ever, we are the brand, right? So even if you don't have your own company, you want to live your life in a way that feels meaningful and you have fulfillment. And I think when you do branding work or self-discovery with that, it really trickles into every area of your life. So this book, I feel like, could help people regardless of where they're at on the journey. Even if you're not a business owner, even if you just want to have like better relationships in your life, or maybe you just want to know that there's people who really live authentically and are successful. And I think also too, it's just even just a great read because of all the storytelling you do and the personal stories like you just read about the shoes and your mom and how you grew up and the different challenges you faced. I think that's just like that hero's journey that we all love to learn about and know that other people have made it and become successful. And it's always inspiring to hear stories like that. So I love the book. I love you. I think everybody should read this book. And that's saying a lot because I'm very picky. I'm very picky with my recommendations, okay? So, I think this is just should be #1 bestseller for like every year to come. So, Ivan, I'm so proud of you. I know you're very humble, like Jen said, you're very humble. But everybody at your book launch event even loves you. You could just see how much love is surrounding you because you love everybody so much, and it just is that like circle energy that people want to be in your world and universe that you've created, because it's very uplifting and happy and full of love and authenticity and success. And who doesn't want to be in that kind of circle, especially after I think the last few years where there's been a lot of things coming at us that are maybe not so pleasant and negative and can really take us down if we let it. So I think you build this wonderful community, and everybody should know you, read your book, buy whatever you're selling, a house or a coaching program. And yeah, I'm just happy to know you.
Awesome, Brittany. Thank you. And guys, she's in the book as well. She is the woman version of me. That's how I was introduced to her by her friend Sarah. And she was completely right. I mean, she is in an industry where branding and videos, you have to be very, very careful with how you do it. And Brittany is very smart. She's who I define as an out of the box thinker. Like, she is one who just was a trailblazer in doing social media and videos in the finance industry, and she's still killing it. And that's something that I just found very inspiring to me, and why I wanted to put her in this book, because I feel that in life, some of us, we set our own rules, right, to kind of keep us from what we should be doing, or society does the same. And Brittany was able to find a way to still be able to leverage this medium and still be within rules, right? And still not do something that was against the finance industry. And so you're just great at what you do, Brittany. And just to echo what you just said about this book, this book is not about making more money, right? More money, I'm going to say more money gives you more problems. It just does.
It's a rap song.
Right? But it is about loving what you do and loving the process, because, at the end of the day, it's loving, it's coming home saying, I did what I wanted to do today because I chose to do it, not because someone else chose it for me. I think that's the greatest freedom that a lot of us as entrepreneurs, is that we choose to get up every single day and do what we love to do. And a lot of us in this chat right now are doing things that are helping other people. We're helping ourselves. And as we help ourselves, we're helping others. And I don't think that there's any other better way of being able to be purposeful in living a life of success and love and passion and gratitude, and being able to give back for those who are less fortunate than us. So thank you for chiming in, Brittany.
Absolutely.
Since
Can I
Brittany-
say one other thing? I just love the aspect that you're also bringing this to schools and to people who maybe don't have access to these resources, because like you said, people like you and I, we have the ability to go get coaches and mentors and pay, the money required to get the knowledge and have access to that, but not everybody does. So I love that part of this whole campaign with your book is bringing it to our community, Latino community, who might not have access to that, and just remind them that they can do it too, and help, I guess, change more of that like bigger societal wealth gap there exists.
Right.
Well, Brittany, we'll keep you on to help us with some of these questions.
Yeah.
Since you got an early copy and you got to read the book early, maybe you can think of some questions to ask us while I field some of these YouTube questions. Anybody on YouTube, please keep sending in those questions. We have Allison reading them for us, so we can ask them live with Ivan. This is why we're doing this, so we can have a virtual Q&A. So more comments from Mark. Keep building, keep breaking new ground. I'm blessed to have you in my life. Lots of people are saying, I'm proud of you. Congrats. Powerful story. Let's see. Here's a question from Benjamin. Tell us your distinguishing traits. What are your distinguishing traits, Ivan? And perhaps what are the questions we can ask ourselves to define our X factor, or the thing that makes us different, that's invaluable to our clients?
Good question, Benjamin. For me personally, my distinguishing traits, I think there's a whole array of them. I previously, or maybe I didn't bring this up, but music is one of my major distinguishing traits. That was a career I had as a kid in my teens. And once that was over, I thought, it's over. Like, we're done, moving on, going to USC, getting my CPA, and then working in real estate. But I've been able to add music into my social media and what I do. Actually, it's in the book, how I was able to land Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton had a home here in West Hollywood that she spent her summers at. And how I was able to land that transaction was the owner, one of the owners, Googled me. He had met me at an open house prior, and we had discussed music, and he knew that singing was in my past. And he Googled me, Ivan Estrada Properties, singing or music, and I popped up. And because of that, I got the call, and I was the one who got the property to list it. So you never know, like, some of these older trainings, older jobs, things that you've done in your past, if you're good with art. This is a great example. I have a friend of mine who's out in Hawaii, and he's a great artist. He's a great painter. And in his marketing pieces and in his marketing videos, is a lot of his art is actually blended in as the backdrop for his listings on his website. So he's able to fulfill both of these purposes of his and combine them. And so I think finding what makes you happy, if you're a cook, if you're a reader, if you love to garden and you want to add that into some of your marketing, in your newsletters, in some of your videos. I mean, there's so many ways to be able to combine the things that you love into one and not feel like you're excluded because that's in your past. I think that's silly. I think there's always ways to still add the things that make you happy with what you're doing now.
And there's a question from Alma. What are some of the organizations we might be able to partner with, or ideas how we can bring this book to our local youth? Thank you, Alma, for asking that question. We are fundraising to give away more books. So all you have to do is outreach to us at Brand with Purpose at brandwith.com, or email Ivan, leave a comment, get in touch with us on all the socials. And all the socials on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Ivan Estrada Properties is our YouTube channel, and that's a great way to get started. Or The Real Brand With is our socials.
And probably the easiest way is ivanestrada.com. There's the contact page, and you can just send us your contact, your information. and someone from our team will get back to you.
And definitely sign up for the email list. We're extending our pre-order bonuses. We have fantastic worksheets, which include a financially wise worksheet from Brittany for a 30-day money detox. And so we're extending our pre-order bonuses. So send your receipts to preorder@brandwidth.com. And yes, we want you to expand and bring this book to your local youth. Get in touch with us. Some of our organizations include Youth Business Alliance, the Brotherhood Crusade, so many that we haven't mentioned. And we want to get to some questions about more content. Please go to our GoFundMe. It's Books by Ivan. That's how you can donate to help us send more gifted books to our existing nonprofits and community partners. And if you have a community partner you want to bring to us, please let us know and help us get in contact with them. Brittany, you have some more questions about the book?
Do I have questions for Ivan? You might have already talked about this, but I just have one question, like where does the brand go from here?
Ooh, good question. That's a great question. So there's a lot of things in the horizon for me. Obviously, I don't want this is not just my first book. I'm just going to put it out there that it's not. I'm on the works of getting. Could I talk about it, Jennifer? No, not yet. Huh? No.
Juicy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just say this isn't my first and last book.
Yay.
But also, I mean, other passions of mine, other than real estate, have been in the furniture line. A lot of the items at my home I actually designed myself and got built. And I want to. That's going to be another project down the line to be able to put a furniture line that I want any family, because I remember growing up with those. And if you grew up in the 80s with those brown and orange couches, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And those orange curtains. You know, in my family, we didn't have a lot of money. So we got whatever we can get and we try to make it look nice, but it was different styles kind of. My house looked like a yard sale, right? It wasn't the nicest stuff. But I want to be able to design furniture that, like, you know, any family who's at a certain price point can afford and still have a nice home that's cohesive, that makes them feel good, that makes them feel proud of their home. And so that's a project of mine that's going to be in the works very soon.
And let's not forget about your video course. When you send your
Brand with Video. Yeah. So Brand with Video is ready. We will be out in 30 days. And it goes in line with the book, right? Brand with Purpose. We're really getting to more of like who you are, trying to get to what your purpose is. And we talk about social media and video and networking, and we touch on different aspects of branding. But Brand with Video is coming out in the next 30 days. And that is a course that I wrote specifically for people who are looking to use video as a new social media, like a platform where they can get comfortable being in front of the camera, get over the fear of how they look, of how they sound, how to create content, how to put a marketing calendar together. I mean, it goes into detail because we're building your brand pillars, building your brand piece by piece. It's a very intuitive program where I come up on screen and tell you to do certain things and you're typing things out. And unlike any other course out there, because I felt you can't put a video course and just have people watch and take notes. You're getting graded on your video content as you're submitting module per module along the way. So that way, you know, you're getting better and you're getting personalized feedback on eye contact, on lighting, on sound, on visuals, on hand gestures. You're getting feedback on everything. So that way, when you're done taking the course, you can see your progress from module 1 to module 15 and know that it's made a huge difference. And you can take the course as many times as you want after that. Sorry. Ooh, need water. As a follow-up or a catch-up. But that's coming out in the next 30 days.
Yeah, so if you order your book,
I'm joking.
When you order your book this week, make sure you send the receipt to preorder@brandwidth.com and you'll get the bonus worksheet from the video course. So there's a chapter 5 in the book that is all about personalizing your video. It's an introduction to what Ivan covers in the video course. So let's see, let me tell all the things. Send your receipts to pre-order at Brandwidth to get the bonus worksheets. Buy your book this week. And then if you want to donate and help send more books to students, please go to GoFundMe Books by Ivan. That will help send the books out to everybody. And so excited. Ivan is speaking to a group of young men in South LA in December. So that's an example of what is after this book launch, is that there's more speaking engagements. Ivan will be, speaking at different schools and community groups. And that's so amazing that he's taking the book live and being a mentor either on Zoom or in person. So if you have schools or community groups for Ivan to speak to, send that our way as well. And definitely register and sign up on the email list so you get the latest news on ivanastrada.com. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for all our friends who showed up for this presentation today. And tell your friends about it. Tell your friends about the pre-order bonuses. They get so much extra good tips on how to do a better photo shoot, how to do an elevator pitch. Ivan, it is such a wonder to work with you. Last words for our folks here.
Thank you. Well, again, just thanking all of you are on here for a reason and for a purpose. And I just wanted to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all that. And I wanted to thank also all the distributors and everyone involved who is putting the book out there. We heard Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, Amazon. My sister-in-law was just at Book Soup at LAX, Hudson Booksellers, Indie Book. I mean, there's so many others to mention, but make sure you can get your book online or at the stores. And I just want to thank you all for your support. And this is just the beginning. Like I can feel it. This is going to be something great. And I hope this book create some change in your life, some better change, and make sure you gift it out. Like, it's all about gifting. I have already gifted about 50 books on my own to certain people that I know are going to get great use of this book. So great gifting ideas as well.
Yes, a great holiday gift or graduation gift. Thank you all for joining us. Check out Ivan at ivanastrada.com and follow him on the social medias. Thank you,
guys.
Bye.
Thank you all so much. Bye.